check the mic, log back out, come back in and have it work. It just worked.
Oh, nice. Oh boy. Control Command V. Control Command V. Okay. I gotta remember that. Hang on. One more. Nope. I need something else. Control F5. Yes. English. Press the keyboard shortcut. What? Is this working now?
What do you mean by working?
Check 1, 2. Is that it?
I hear you.
I'll have to come back to this. I'm testing something out. Let's go to charts. I was trying to finish that up because I don't like to leave things hanging. But this one I'm gonna have to hang for a while. Market analysis. We're gonna start off with some crypto stuff. We're gonna come back to the other. It's just because the crypto stuff's actually pretty exciting right now. Bitcoin dominance dropping here this week has resulted in an opening for a lot of altcoins. And so we've been seeing the volumes rise significantly over the last little while. We can see that as evidenced by this trend line, and that in this area there's been like this drop here resulted in a lot of buys. Now I'm of the mind that this is activity done by the exchanges. Because while there's movement, it's not always correlating to what's being written on chain. It's on chain because it's through the exchanges, but it's not wallets that are associated with anonymous people. Like they're wallets that are connected to exchanges, not people. So that means we look at that as not on chain because that account goes to the exchanges. That's an exchange account. So if they are creating the illusion of volume here, that is going to be their signal of saying, okay, it's time to go. And that just means that that it could very well be that this is the bottom. And another reason why is look at how this is occurring on that trend. We've talked in the past how level C is deep down in there. Yes, we could test level A. We could very well test that. That's market structure. But it would be very rare to see that. And so the high volume transactions that we're noticing on chain are simply the start of this. It's a good sign. Very good sign. Ethereum. That's against Bitcoin. Ethereum also coming right back down to the previous support. And I was saying, if we can get this to go, how this is buttoned up against this level here, this resistance. Zooming in, let's get some more definition to this. Zooming in, we are noticing this be the focal point. That inside trend line. I said, yeah, the outside trend line has dominance, but this inside trend line is where all of this volume is occurring. This high volatility back and forth. Think of it as like an accelerated consolidation. You know, we've seen consolidations happen in the past, but you can also see they have kind of a wave to them as well, right? Up and down, which stays. Usually when it's in consolidation, it has the same rhythm. But look at how this consolidation is just really, really tight. That rhythm is extremely tight. Now, the volume of the transactions, where are they going? That's the next question. Okay, so now we look up BitTensor. Do you notice something here? How this movement, this rise and then fall, does not correlate to this rise and this fall? You see the difference? The pattern, that's why market analysis is so important, that we go through this all the time. And I talk about, you know, look at resistance, look at support, look at the volatility. We talk about the ATR. Well, this is exactly why. Ethereum had a pulse going up and then this pulse coming back down. But then BitTensor, we've been watching this one closely, same chart. It goes down. When it goes up, it's not coming down with a lower low, right? Ethereum actually went down below this point here, right? When it went down, it hovered back underneath this pivot point. That, from a technical analysis perspective, when we measure the highs and lows like that, it's we're comparing to know where the money's flowing. We compare the movements. So this drop, it went down and it didn't even come back up really. It just started consolidating underneath. Now, this doesn't mean I'm looking for a trend. I'm looking for flow. Where is the money going? Ethereum is the silver of all the cryptos. So it's hovering down really close to this support line. But Tau, which is on Ethereum, when it went up, it didn't come back down to find that underneath a pivot point. No. It stayed up, propped up. So this is where the money went. It came into Ethereum, and then it went into these assets. Ethereum went back down because the money went over here. And it stayed here. So where are the transactions going? Well, let's just consider for a moment. BitTensor and somebody else, really, really, really important. Remember how I was saying this is the big tech companies? These are the Googles and the Metas, and all this is decentralized. Web3, here we come. This is the coin. They just signed a deal with none other than NVIDIA. That's been in consolidation for all this time. As, what did I say, 5 trillion now? 4.5 for sure. This is a $4.5 trillion venture. And they just signed on with BitTensor. BitTensor. The one that we've been following since 2024, sorry, June 2024. Where is my calendar on this thing? There we go. June 2024. It was middle, right here. BitTensor fluctuated all the way. That's the point right there that we started watching this. Fluctuated down 55%, up 94%, back down 55%. New high up here, 40% up. Then it dropped down, created a whole new low. 61% down from where we started. Now it's almost right back to where we were, down 25% from where we started. We've always known that this was the company to watch for when this all goes down, because the institutions are just going to jump on board. Why? Because we're transferring the form of data. It's going to the decentralized web. And this one is hosting the big companies' AIs, and that's why they had to buy NVIDIA. They're going to be saying goodbye, OpenAI. Goodbye, Microsoft. Goodbye, the data centers that are all buying up, like Oracles and all that stuff. They don't need that. They're going decentralized with BitTensor. It's a transfer. They just move the money from one form into another. But they got to stay with NVIDIA because, well, the next generation of chips aren't out yet, and they've got more rug to pull. AI bubble, there's tons to talk about now. The AI bubble's about to crash, and I'm like, no, you guys don't get it. This is going to crash. Remember the dot-com boom? What happened? The dot-com boom took $3 trillion out of the market. It'll be 15 this time in total. Simply because of how much money's in tech that's reliant on all of these models, all these legacy models that are just burning through compute. Oh, let's go decentralized. Okay, let's make sure we've got a decentralized option on the backup, because when that day comes and we actually do this thing, we pull this reset, we want people to be addicted to the models so that they have to go to, they have to go to Tau. They are going to become customers of BitTensor, whether they like it or not, because this one is replacing Oracle, the legacy centralized storage compute centers. That's why we're also looking at Oracle, because I think they're going to crash and everyone's going to panic and they say, look, the AI bubble's popping. No, it's just transferring from one form into another, from Oracle to BitTensor. Now, do you guys see why I've been following this the way that I have been? This is our leading indicator. It did not drop. Liquidity went in and it stayed there. Ethereum. Zooming in. We have to zoom in. We have to do that 2-hour chart. So I apologize. Go back to BitTensor. Just this last while. Let's measure the time. 1 day, 8 hours. Going to Ethereum in the same period of time. 1 day, 8 hours. In the same period of time, Ethereum dropped 3.1%. Oh, and that's a drop of 10. Yeah, but it's all about the highs and lows. It's all about the highs and lows. It did not go below that pivot point. So we have up. Yes, there's a retracement, but it's not the same type of retracement as Ethereum. And Ethereum, it definitely wouldn't have moved as much, like by percentage, because it's the market capitalization on this is huge, right? So the market capitalization is, let's go to that real quick. Ethereum is sitting at 257 billion right now. BitTensor is way down here further. It might not even be on page one. Oh, there it is. Number 37 at only 2 billion. So just the size of the market capitalization alone would call for a larger movement from Bitcoin, from BitTensor. But the key is that Ethereum fell under the support. It does not mean that Ethereum is going down. This means the money went from Ethereum, and then people used Ethereum, and people, I say the institutions, because they are the leaders in this. They know when the timing is. They put their money into BitTensor, and huge volumes, massive volumes going into this over the last 24 hours. So that's the big update. Lots of movement there. What are we seeing across the other boards? Not much. Destra, this is now your smallest time. You know, these guys have a market capitalization of 40 million, if I'm not mistaken. I know it's not on page one. Yeah, here we go. You know, it's ranked 707th with a market capitalization right now of market cap. Oh, yeah, 18 million measly dollars. Paul, why are you following them? Oh, because when this actually takes off, the people that value privacy are going to go this direction. They're not going to be going to the BitTensor to hold that data. They're not going to trust those nodes. They're going to be going to sections of the market like this. So I'm positioning the money so that when this goes off, instead of BitTensor and making money off of that, I'm going to be making probably twice as much money, because remember, small market capitalization, meaning that when the money comes in, it has a much larger effect on the stock, so to speak, on the token. Way larger effect. So this one here, you know, we look at BitTensor. Let's go back to the chart. Because BitTensor, we can target what this is going to do when we look at how much money is going to be coming in. $15 trillion. We split that out between all the different big techs. BitTensor being that one that I'm watching because of the story. It's all about control of the data. So I follow the BitTensor. With Desync, back to BitTensor, sorry. I get excited about this stuff because it's like we're watching it in real time. Okay, so BitTensor, let's go out to the weekly chart here, and I'm going to squish it down a little bit because it's expected that BitTensor is going to go to probably going to go to about $2,500 to $3,500. So let's go on the short end of that. That's 800%, 8x. There's people saying it's going to be a lot higher than that. One guy was saying, no, it'll be going to 10,000. Okay, well, let's go look at that. How much is 10,000? 40x. So on the outset, that's definitely a good gain. But here's the thing. Desync, because it's I would say at that leading edge between them and storage, these guys are at the very leading edge of being able to, like, at being at that position to take in the market capitalization. Well, if you go and you 8x the market capitalization of a huge coin like that, and you take the same proportions and you start not saying the same ratios, proportions as in by current market capitalization on the private end of things, these guys are amongst the biggest at 17 million. So when the money comes in, $1 is going to likely be the base, because it's just how much it affects these kinds of coins. Well, what's $1? Well, from where we are right now, $1, that's 97 cents, is 49x. That's if BitTensor does a 7x. If BitTensor goes up to their high, whatever they were talking about, that would put desync at about $15 to $20. So let's go 15. That's 750x. So for clarity, $1,000 today will likely turn into $750,000 if it goes up to the same degree that people are saying Bitcoin or that BitTensor is totally capable of doing. But even that, like take $1,000 and make it to that measly dollar. And take $56,000 out. Remember, I was the idiot that got started with this back in June of 2024. Right there, shortly, like a month and a half after this thing started. It's down 90%. But if it goes to $1, still taking out 400%. 15. 58x. This is going to be life-changing for a lot of people, especially for those that can do the same thing that Michael Burry did and just position his money in such a way that it's there for when the flow occurs. He was wrong on the timing. I've been wrong on the timing since I got started. But we're not wrong. Desync in a great position right now. Any questions so far? Anything coming up for people? Notice how Polygon has actually been rising while but Ethereum is falling. Same kind of idea as with BitTensor. Now, this is totally different asset class. This one here, majority of the coins on Polygon are meme coins for video games, or maybe an NFTs. You know, get some NFTs for your video game. It's expected to be an ecosystem coin for a lot of video games going forward. And so this one here, it got some flow from Ethereum because it's a layer 2. Fetch also rising, but not coming back down underneath previous resistance. Interesting, eh? I know I'm kind of on a deeper language when it comes to this, and so people who are looking at this kind of stuff more with newer eyes, you might not recognize everything that I'm saying, but Audrey Lynn, I know you can hear me. This is Cardano, still rising. Lows are getting higher. We keep on getting up. In this consolidation range, we've been rising ever since March 8th, sorry. Yep. XRP down. I think that that's a sign of distrust. Midnight also down. Not too concerned about this one. This one is such a tiny market cap at the moment, and it's still very largely unknown within the greater ecosystem.
Well, and it's also so new. I mean, it's
Yep.
not even old.
Yeah. Yeah, even if it were to drop to 1 cent, I wouldn't consider it a different type of asset or it change its perceived value in my mind. But it will be awesome. It'll be awesome once that thing takes off because remember, we mined here. We mined all in this area. Well, it was around this price that we were cashing out. Cashing out as in coins distributed. 5 cents, 5.7. As soon as it came out. And so, in this area here, let's say it's at this. Yeah, I think it was actually the average was this. That's why I marked it because, oh no, this was for a pivot point. Never mind. But a dollar is expected this year yet. Well, I say this year, I would say within the next year. A dollar. Well, what is that? I gotta do this again. From the line to a dollar. 16x. That's just first wave. Okay, now let's go back into our stuff here. Bitcoin dominance, we talked about that. That is dropping. So you coincide the fact that Bitcoin lost dominance during that time. That tells us lots of money went into altcoins. Like that extra confirmation. Amazon still consolidating between that high that it created getting out of that pivot zone, but it's crawling its way back in. Now it's not quite through the halfway point yet, so the support could very well hold out. We've got Oracle also coming down from a previous new high and still not pushing below. We'll see how things close here in the next few hours. This will be the closing of the week. Google pressing downward a little bit harder today into the consolidation range, into that pivot range. Palantir staying up high, not experiencing the same downturn as we see in some of the other ones. So Palantir is in position. Nvidia dropping over the period of the last day or so. That it's been consolidating back and forth for quite some time. It makes sense. I actually expect like Nvidia is going to get, tipped over the edge like the Oracles and OpenAIs and all that stuff as well. They're going to get tipped over the edge eventually. Like, bye, don't need you anymore. See you. Oh, sorry about your losses. We know, but I think that what's going to happen is that the cybersecurity is going to be so severe that if your digital identifier is if you are using infrastructure in your computer, if you've got tech that is not able to be tracked by your digital ID, you will not be allowed to use it. You won't be allowed to connect it to the internet, nothing like that. And so that will require a different hardware. And NVIDIA, I think, is going to be phased out, and they're going to bring in a new one that you are allowed to decentralize. Yes, you're allowed to have your own. But you can only have it through this particular model so that your digital ID is, it's compliant. So be mindful of that as we watch this. I'll be keeping my eyes open for who's replacing NVIDIA in the decentralized compute capabilities. Who's making the chips? And still right now there's not real they haven't even finished building the infrastructure for the mass production of these chips yet. Technology is all in prototypes and they're building the assembly lines as we speak. So we might not see who's the leader of this. We do know that whoever's in charge of making the chips, that right now there's only one company. I can't remember what they're called. There's only one company that actually makes the chips, and then it's just different manufacturers hire them to make the chips. They've got all the only equipment in the world that's capable of making these microchips. I'll look that up for next market analysis, so I actually now know what I sound. That way, I actually sound like I know what I'm talking about. Next, we've got Nike. Japanese markets closing the week out at lows, tempting to go to that dip that we saw earlier. Again, that's a range. It's a pretty significant one. Not in size, but in gravity. This week, this week it's been consolidating, but all day today, loss of the value in the Japanese yen. Oil climbing back up today. Looking like it's going to tempt these highs. Yes, it's going to go up. This is all part of the plan. Trust the plan, as they say. These companies have to keep people's attention tokens focused on producing energy, and oil is the best way to get people to panic. Just make oil look like it's really scarce all of a sudden, and then everybody will really be concerned for the economy, and that fear will help us significantly with phase 2. Time for us to check up on... No, I just did this yesterday. We're basically at the same. Gold prices sitting below this trend line. Silver also staying below that consolidation range that was narrowing, but only retesting that long-term trend line. Now we'll just quickly check up on the meme coins. Not too much to report here. Over the last couple of days, we've been seeing a drop and consolidation across the board. Meme coins and game coins, that'll be later. Well, I shouldn't say that. I think meme coins are going to lead. They're going to be another leading indicator of what's happening, because there are a lot of people like these guys who are pissed off about the traditional markets and want to take it over, and they are on their way. SPX sitting at $30 right now, expected to reach $3 when this first wave hits. $3 from here, oh, that's 900%. We'll see what happens. Any thoughts, feedback, questions?
It kind of feels like we're at the beginning of the start.
Yeah. I would say that the plane's engines have certainly started whirring, and we are about to take off. Please fasten your seatbelts. Keep your arms and legs in at all times.
This is off topic of your market analysis, Paul, but I'm out and about here, and I'm on with my phone here at the moment. Anyway, things for Sunday?
This Sunday, no, I don't have any openings.
Oh, your calendar shows that.
Oh, does it?
Okay.
Let me go see here. If there's a time available, I would grab it. Yeah, this Sunday there is a spot there. You're right. A couple spots.
What times do you have on your calendar?
I can squeeze you in at 1:30, or I can. Yeah, I could also do 11, 10:30, 11.
Sure. Let's 1:30. Yeah, let's go 11 o'clock.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, I'm going to sign off here, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Yeah, you betcha.
Okay, thanks.
Right on.
It's very, very interesting what you shared here this morning.
Thank you. Yeah, it's exciting times.
Yeah, bye for now.
Yeah, you betcha. Take care. Any thoughts? Well, nothing else. I'll end it and get going.